Hi. Well, today I'm gonna sharpen the blades on my chainsaw. It's the weekend and I've actually got some time, so I'm gonna cut down some trees. I've got one tree that's already down and I need to cut it up into smaller pieces. And then I've got some other trees I want to take down. But before I can use my chainsaw, it's been a while, I want to sharpen the blade. So I'm gonna go through the steps for sharpening the blade today, and I hope you find this informative. I've never done this before, so we're gonna figure this out along the way and see how easy or hard it is. So this is my chainsaw. It's nothing high end or super fancy, right? It's just a Homelite model 42cc. I'm not even sure how long this thing is here. What's it say? Well, it used to say on there 40 something inches. Anyway, I got this kit over here for sharpening the blade, and so I'm going to use this this stuff here by hand to sharpen these teeth on here, and we'll see how easy or hard this is. Like I said, I've never done this before, but I always want to try new stuff, and this is something new for me. So the file sharpener that I bought was Craftsman brand. It's a 5/32 diameter, which is the right diameter for this blade. And if you look on this guide that comes with it, it's got some markings in here for 25 degrees and 30 degrees. For this unit that I'm sharpening, the correct angle is 30 degrees. And I was able to look that up in the manual that came with the unit. The manual in the unit actually has some pretty good instructions. I would strongly suggest read through those instructions first before you start to actually perform your sharpening on here, along with following what I'm doing here, because again, I'm just figuring this out as I go. I've never done this before, and I'm just learning as I go, and I hope I can encourage you to do the same, but do it safely, right? Read the book first. Kind of goes against one of my personal golden rules, which is try first, then read the manual when you get stuck. But in this case, safety overrules that. Read the manual. There's only a couple, it's like 1 page or 2 pages, something like that. And it's pretty informative. So I was just getting ready to start, and I was thinking to myself, well, how are you going to remember where you started? If I start on this blade here, and I keep pushing this thing around and cutting it, how am I going to remember? I could do a couple things. I could try counting the number of blades that are on there and keep track. But what I'm going to try instead is using a Sharpie. I have a silver and a black Sharpie here because I'm not sure which one's really going to show up the best. And I'm just going to mark one of the blades with this Sharpie. Yeah, that one's working out really good. I'm just going to color that whole thing in. And then when that blade comes back around, right, I'll know that's the one I started with, and I'll be able to, I won't double do it or miss a blade along the way. So somehow you got to keep track of which ones you've done and which ones you haven't done. I'm going to use the black marker, and we'll see how that goes. It looks like that shows up pretty good. It's different than all the others. That's what you're trying to do, is create something that's different. Filing a couple of the teeth here, and I think I've got the technique down for me. And you always want to, according to the manual, you see the way this blade is oriented here. It's looking towards me, right? If the way I describe it, the top part of the blade is pointing towards me, so you can see underneath there the profile of that particular blade right there, right? And the way it's described is that you want to push the file that way towards the center, and take it off and put it back, and then push it that direction. So I've got the file mounted to my little mounting plate that came with the kit, and you see the file there kind of sticks out from the bottom, and so you just kind of lay this on top of your blade. You find your blade, and you lay it in here, and then using the markings that are on there, you can just line it up, to make sure you're not like crazy off angle, right lined up like that. And then from here, you want to push it forward. Now it takes a steady hand to be able to do that. And what I end up having to do is, in order to keep this thing, because the whole chainsaw wants to move, you know, it wants to spin around here as I'm doing it. In order to hold it straight, I put my left hand up here to hold the body of the chainsaw, while I use my right hand to push the file through the teeth. And I don't try to do it super fast, you know, just nice steady motion, making sure that I keep that angle. The angle is really important. You don't want to be off by a lot, but you know, you can be off by a little. But probably some of the purists out there who are watching this would complain that, oh, you gotta lock the thing down and make sure that you can hold the angle perfect within 30 degrees plus or minus a quarter degree. But you know, I'm not a lumberjack. I'm not doing this for a living. I'm just cutting down some trees in my backyard, right? So we need to be safe. We need to do it right. 30 degrees is the right angle. Do your best to hold it steady. If you need to lock it down with a vise or something, hey, go ahead, knock yourself out. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to do it by hand. So after I filed all of the blades that were facing the right side of my chainsaw, now I'm on the other side. So you know, it's kind of a tip that was in the book, which is do all of the blades on one side, then switch over and do all the blades on the other side. That way you don't waste a lot of time going back and forth. But holding the chainsaw steady on this side is a little bit different than holding it steady on the other side, because I'm right-handed, and I like to hold the file with my right hand, and I can get a good steady motion firm with my right hand. My left hand I'm not so confident with for running the file. So what I'm doing now is I'm holding onto the chain. Actually, I'm holding onto the bar here below it. They call it the bar, right? Holding onto the bar below it to stabilize this as I use my right hand to push through the filing. Now, you know, these blades are sharp. You want to be very careful. I'm doing it with my bare hands. I'm not wearing any gloves. You could put on a pair of leather gloves. Would probably be safer than what I'm doing. But you know, I'm just here doing it myself. So I like to do dumb things. So probably not wearing gloves is pretty dumb, and that's what I'm doing. So there's the blade after it's been filed. You can see the edge is nice and shiny. I've got a good clean edge all the way around. No big burrs hanging off or anything. And that's kind of what we're looking for, cleaning off the dirt, the filth, and then getting a nice, clean, sharp edge on there. It's going to make this thing run a lot smoother and faster through all of those cuts I got ahead of me today. With the chainsaw chain sharpening, and it was actually pretty easy. Had I known it was going to be this easy, I probably would have done it earlier. I think I've been putting it off for a while because I thought, it's going to be hard work. It's not hard, it's pretty easy. And, you know, typically when I do a job like this, there's always something I run into that doesn't work out so good. And this one went really smooth. I'm surprised, so that's good. Knowing that now, I'll probably sharpen my chain a lot more often as I'm using it. If I notice it's getting dull, I'll just whip out that sharpener and hit it a couple times. It's pretty easy. So I hope you you know, find that sharpening your chainsaw is just as easy as mine. Okay, and I'll see you in another video. Have a good day.